Level 1, La Luna. In the first heaven, La Luna, Dante describes souls who fail to fulfill their vows not of their own free will, but due to external pressures or influences. In the religious context of the Middle Ages, oaths, especially oaths to God, had a very sacred meaning. The souls in La Luna are those who committed to religious vows such as monastic vows or chastity vows, but were forced or compelled to break them due to worldly circumstances beyond their control. For example, a woman who has taken a vow of chastity but is forced into marriage by her family would be in this heaven. La Luna reflects moral imperfections not due to sins of the will, but due to the inability to fulfill spiritual responsibilities taken seriously. These souls are still blessed and are in heaven, but they are in the lowest level of happiness due to being less than perfect in their earthly attainment of morality. In Dante's journey in La Luna, he discusses freedom of will, the nature of commitment, and the importance of intention in moral action. Those here enjoy happiness, but they are still at a lower level than the souls in the other heavens who manage to fully fulfill God's will. Level 2. Mercurio. In Mercurio, Dante encounters souls who perform good deeds but are motivated by personal ambition and the quest for worldly honor. The souls in Mercurio are those who perform praiseworthy acts, such as working for the welfare of society or administering justice, but their primary goal is to seek fame, not to glorify God. Although their deeds are good, their motivation, centered on temporal rewards, keeps them in the second level of heaven. Mercurio, or Mercury, is described as the planet associated with ambition, because of its quick and often changing nature, reflecting the character of souls who act for the sake of fame. They do no wrong, but the perfection of their virtue is hampered by their focus on earthly achievements. In discussions with Dante, the souls in Mercurio emphasize the importance of intention in the exercise of virtue. These souls, though blessed, are in the lower heavens because the good actions they perform are not based on pure divine purpose, but rather personal ambition. They are still happy in heaven, but their happiness is not equal to that of the souls who practice virtue selflessly. Level 3, Venere. In Venere, which translates as Venus, Dante encounters souls whose lives are heavily influenced by love. Venere, the planet astrologically associated with love and lust, reflects souls who are devoted to love, both earthly and divine. However, many of these souls experience the stronger temptation of earthly love, although ultimately their love for God is also significant. Souls in Venere are not considered sinners for love, but the focus of their love in the world tends to be for human relationships rather than a pure love for God. This may be romantic or for other worldly pleasures. However, because love is a fundamental force and has a strong connection to God, the souls here remain blessed and in heaven. The discussion in Venere introduces the idea that love is one of the most important aspects of human morality, but that which is not well regulated or which relies too much on worldly objects is still less than perfect. Those in this heaven enjoy heavenly bliss, but because of their inclination to worldly love, they are in a lower stratum than those souls who have purified their love for God alone. Level 4, Il Sole and Il Sole, or the Sun. Dante meets souls renowned for their wisdom and knowledge. These souls consist of philosophers, theologians, and great thinkers who give the light of wisdom to humanity through their teachings. The sun, which illuminates the world, becomes an appropriate symbol for these souls as they have illuminated others with spiritual and intellectual insights. Among the souls in Il Sole, Dante meets great figures such as Thomas Aquinas and Boethius, known for their contributions in philosophy and theology. They were considered exceptional souls because their knowledge was not only worldly, but also geared towards glorifying God. Their wisdom was used to draw closer to God and assist others in understanding divine truth. Il Sole emphasizes the importance of wisdom and knowledge as a means to understand God and His creation. The souls here are at a higher level of happiness because they not only live a good life, but also use their intellect to learn and teach divine truths. Dante on this journey also learns that true knowledge must be directed towards divine ends, not just for personal intellectual fulfillment. Level 5, Marte. In the fifth heaven, Marte or Mars, Dante meets the souls of heroes and martyrs who fought for the Christian faith. Marte, a planet traditionally associated with war and bravery, became a symbol for those who had sacrificed their lives in defense of truth and faith. These souls are known for their courage and sacrifice in defense of religious beliefs, and they are rewarded with an honorable place in heaven. The souls in Marte include soldiers who fought in the Crusades, courageous religious figures, and leaders who were willing to sacrifice themselves for the good of Christians. One of the souls Dante meets here is Cacciaguida. his own ancestor who recounts his family history and gives advice on Dante's spiritual and moral journey. Cacciaguaida is the perfect example of someone who combines military valor and deep faith. The giant luminous cross is the main symbol in this sky, depicting faith lived through sacrifice and struggle. Dante learned in Marte that true strength lies in loyalty to God and sacrifice for the greater good. These souls have reached a high level of happiness because of their courage in defending their faith, even though in the physical world they face great hardship and suffering. Level 6, Giove. Those who live in Giove or Jupiter are the souls of rulers who rule justly and wisely. Jupiter, the planet traditionally associated with justice and righteousness, hosts souls who live by the principles of justice and virtue in positions of authority. The souls here are kings, emperors, and rulers who use their power to uphold just laws and promote the welfare of their people. One of the striking features of this sky is the formation of the words diligit justitiam qui adjudicatis terram, meaning love justice, you who rule the earth, which emerges from the souls that make up the star formation. This emphasizes the central theme of this heaven, love of justice as the foundation of good government and the moral life. In Giove, Dante also confronts the paradox that in the mortal world, many rulers fail to practice justice, but those who are truly just receive eternal rewards in heaven. Dante meets historical figures such as King David, who is described as an example of a just and faithful king. The souls here are in a high state of happiness because they combine worldly power with divine moral principles, making them servants of God in defense of goodness and truth. Level 7, Saturno. Saturno, or Saturn, is the place of souls who lead contemplative lives and deep spiritual meditation. Saturn, a planet associated with solitude, tranquility, and reflection, becomes a place for souls who focus more on a personal relationship with God through prayer, seclusion, and meditation, away from the worldly grind. These souls are known as contemplativi, people who fully dedicate their lives to contemplation and the search for spiritual truth. In this heaven, Dante sees a golden staircase that stretches towards God, symbolizing the soul's journey from the physical world towards divine union. Souls ascend and descend this ladder, which symbolizes their spiritual awareness and closeness to God. One of the souls Dante encounters in Saturno is Saint Benedict, the founder of the Benedictine order, which is the epitome of the contemplative life in Christianity. Saturno emphasizes the importance of a life dedicated to seclusion and spiritual reflection. The souls here achieve high happiness because they direct their lives entirely to God and transcend worldly pleasures. However, they also represent a difficult and sacrificial path, where the search for truth in God is the main focus of their lives. Level 8, L'Stelle Fisse. In L'Stelle Fisse, or the fixed star, Dante enters a place for souls who have reached the highest level of holiness and are perfect examples of faith. This heaven houses prophets, apostles, and martyrs who have lived in accordance with God's will and set a perfect example in their lives on earth. L'Stelle Fisse symbolizes eternity and constancy, corresponding to the souls here who are permanently in the glory of God. In this heaven, Dante witnesses some of the most powerful spiritual sights, including the triumph of Christ and the vision of the Virgin Mary, which symbolizes the triumph of the Christian faith. Dante also meets the three main figures of Christianity, Apostle Peter, Apostle James, and Apostle John, who test his faith, his hope, and his love, three important theological virtues of the Christian faith. This heaven depicts a spiritual perfection in which souls live in perfect bliss, having achieved full union with God. They are no longer bound by earthly needs and are in complete divine will. L'Stelle Fisse is a place where blessed souls have overcome all the trials of the world and are in a state of peace and eternity, looking directly at the infinite truth of God. Level 9, Il Primo Mobile. In the ninth heaven, which is Il Primo Mobile, Dante reaches the highest place in the structure of the known universe where all cosmic motion originates. Il Primo Mobile is the source of movement for the previous 8 heavens and is considered the sky closest to God. It is here that divine power energizes the entire lower universe, and from here comes time and change. This sky has no stars or other physical objects, as it is a purely spiritual place beyond matter. The souls here are angels, heavenly beings who are the movers and shakers of the universe. They are the highest beings created by God and act as a direct link between God and his creation. In Dante's journey through Il Primo Mobile, he sees angelic formations moving in perfect circles around the divine center, which symbolizes the harmony and order of the universe created by God. The symbolism of Il Primo Mobile is the divine order and the origin of all movement and time. Dante realizes that the universe, though so large and complicated, is centered on God's infinite love. In this sky, Dante also sees how all beings, including souls and stars, are bound by God's love and will that unites all things. Top level, El Empyrean. El Empyrean is the highest level in Paradiso, a place beyond time and space where God resides and purified souls enjoy eternal bliss in God's direct presence. This is not a heaven like the others, but rather a state of existence that is purely divine and perfect, transcending physical boundaries. Here, Dante reaches the culmination of his journey where he witnesses the divine vision of a direct view of God, surrounded by an infinite halo representing eternity. In El Empyrean, Dante discovers that blessed souls dwell within the Rosa Candida, white rose, a heavenly formation that takes the form of a giant rose. Each petal of this rose is home to purified souls, with the center of the rose inhabited by angels and supreme figures such as the Virgin Mary. The souls here are those who have attained perfect bliss and live in total union with God. In El Empyrean, Dante also witnesses the Holy Trinity, three interlocking halos depicting the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. This vision is the culmination of Dante's spiritual journey, during which he experiences the feeling of infinite love and understands that love is the fundamental force that drives the universe. El Empyrean represents the ultimate bliss that is incomprehensible to the ordinary human mind. Here all earthly limitations disappear, and there is only divine light and perfect eternal peace, where all souls live in full union with God for all eternity.